Welcome to the Hey Mama Homeschool Show, centered around family life and home education. How do you get homeschooling and housework done? How do you help children who are struggling? How do you teach a rebellious child? We have answers. You pour into your family daily, and we are here to help you. Brought to you by the Old Schoolhouse, your trusted partner for over 20 years.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Hey Mama Homeschool Show. My name is Christine, and I'll be your host for this episode. And I am a homeschooling mom of two boys, and we're up here in Ontario, Canada. And I have the privilege of working for schoolhouseteachers.com, which is a division of the Old Schoolhouse. Before I introduce you to our theme for today, I'm going to let you know that our episode is sponsored by Reading Eggs. With Reading Eggs, your homeschoolers will enjoy a highly personalized learning journey designed to support them at every stage. Plus, you'll get 4 programs in one with your subscription: Reading Eggs, Reading Express, Reading Eggs Junior, and Fast Phonics. So be sure to check out Reading Eggs. So our theme for today is, how do I teach financial stewardship? And so I'm going to invite you to listen in on a previously recorded interview that I did with Dustin Goss from Buck Academy. We had a wonderful conversation, and I can tell you that I learned a little bit more about teaching financial stewardship and the importance of it. So definitely take notes, and I hope you enjoy. We'll see you back when it's over.
This episode is sponsored by Reading Eggs. With Reading Eggs, your homeschoolers will enjoy a highly personalized learning journey designed to support them at every stage. Plus, you'll get 4 programs in one with your subscription: Reading Eggs, Reading Eggs Press, Reading Eggs Junior, and Fast Phonics.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Homeschool Live. I am Christine, and joining me today, we have Dustin Goss from Buck Academy. So thanks for joining us today, Dustin. And let's just get right into it. Why don't you just tell our viewers a little bit about who you are?
Hi, yeah, thank you, Christine. Pleasure to be here today. Myself, I come from a background of, I guess, just being your local neighborhood entrepreneur. You know, I started early on going, oh, that grass needs to be mowed, those leaves need to be raked, and oh, there's a newspaper route over there, and whatever I could do to kind of like just be active and, and entertained. And I've been very, very blessed and fortunate to have a career through my life where I'm able to create business and support myself and my family.
That's amazing.
You know, it starts out as yourself, and then you move into a life of having a life partner and then beautiful children. So along the journey of building products for retail, somewhere back in 2019, long before that, there was this message in my head that said, write a book about the value of a dollar. And I didn't understand it. I was rather young. I understood that people didn't value a dollar. You know, I just feel like in a lot of our societies in this country, if there's a dollar on the sidewalk, a lot of people will step over it thinking it's too dirty. I'm not picking that up. But then there's other neighborhoods where that dollar's on the ground. There might be a fist fight over it. You know, so it's just, where is the value lost into this almighty buck, if you will? Mm-hmm. So in 2019, I drafted out this book to give my kids a lesson of just an introduction into money. And then my wife Febyolla and I started looking at it deeper and richer and going, well, how do we take this a step farther? How do we animate it or bring life to it or give it a different voice? And she started creating the characters that ultimately speak the story and relay the message. And Buck is our primary character and the foundation of Buck Academy. So what spurred from that one book and that one activity is Buck Academy. And we have a half a dozen titles or so that are published, and some other titles that are coming out that continue to just introduce money to youth. And as we look back on the journey in our own lives of where did we learn about money, And unfortunately, we didn't learn a lot. And
It's
I think
true.
with a lot of youth, the message just isn't passed down. And then as parents, you're like, well, how do I pass that down to my kids? How do I teach my kids not to make the same mistakes I did with money? And
Mhm.
we don't have it really ingrained in our education system to teach about money, but we teach people how to work. And we teach people how to do basic arithmetic and reading and writing and those things that make us workers. They don't make you thinkers, but they make
Yeah.
you a worker. And that's great in many regards. But then what do we do when we work? We're trading our time for money. So we continue to go in this investigation of, well, how do you learn more about money, learn about the time you just traded for this resource? Yet most of us aren't very good with managing the resource. So you end up falling into a place later in life as you go through your youth years and into a young adult and into an adult, where you still might be in a state as you're approaching your 40s going, I'm not very good with money. And
Mhm.
the best thing that we can do from our perspective is teach our kids about how to manage this tool of money.
Yeah.
Um, so I went in a little bit about Buck Academy versus
Yeah.
myself.
Nope.
More important to us about what we do and why we're doing it is really to give the youth um, a guidance towards a proper relationship with money, where then they can have the correct behaviors with money, leading towards financial freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is our topic today, helping your child understand the value of money. And so you kind of touched on it a little bit, but what can you tell us what the biggest challenge um, parents might be facing in teaching financial literacy?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I'm sure there's lots of different challenges, but I think the number one is like, what is the curriculum that you use, right?
Mm.
And as parents, can we rely on others to teach our kids? Particularly
Mm.
when you're teaching your kids yourself from a homeschool environment. Um, there's just not a lot of curriculums around money. There's tons of programs out there, right?
Yeah.
So when we look at the 10,000 programs around financial literacy, well, what makes them work and what makes them not work is a question we ask internally. How can we do things differently to give more impact and have the message be retained and remain relevant? And it really comes down to looking at the programs that are developed. They're enrichment based, and that's not just meaning like, oh, this is going to enrich your child in this like an immersion.
Mm.
It's more like, here, read this book and you're going to learn about money. Here, do this. Well, here's the problem with money. Money is financial excellence is 20% knowledge and 80% behavior from
Yeah.
our
That's right.
perspective.
Yeah.
So you can know all you want to know about money, but if you don't behave properly with it, it won't do you any good. And when somebody gives you a book and says, read this, you'll learn how to retire early. Well, really, you can have that knowledge, but until you're doing the actions and
Apply it.
making
Yeah.
it won't do any good for you. And from an early age, we see that children start to follow the footsteps of their parents. The American Psychology Association has studies that show that by 7 or 8, kids are starting to pick up the traits of their parents around their actions with money. Are you loosely spending it? Are you frugal? Are you budgeting? Are you using cash? Are you using cards? Like, what are your actions? Are you analyzing things? Do you look at multiple options and find the right price? Are you buying things from the bottom shelf, the middle shelf, or the top shelf in the grocery store? Like, how do you spend your money? Your kids watch. These kids are incredibly intelligent today. They know far more than us parents did at their age, right? They just have different access. They have different streams of flow and education. And it still baffles us as an organization today to look at the fact that we don't have an impact of teaching money correctly. It's still one of the topics that's just left off, and we all understand the power of it and the importance of it. But then you bring it up in certain environments, and they're like, oh, well, we don't have the curriculum, we don't have the time for it. No, the teachers don't have enough knowledge around it. Well, we have to start at some point to make a change. And oh, well, we need to worry about feeding the kids that can't feed themselves. Well, if we taught more kids today about how to manage money, by the time they have children, they did a better job of managing money and teaching their children, where we don't have as many people who can't feed themselves because of lack of scarcity, or the resources that give them comfort and the needs of the life.
It's so true. And quite honestly, like, I'm homeschooling two boys, and they're 11 and 7 right now. And honestly, I don't think about that. That, oh, I have to include, the value of money. Mind you, it has been a pressing issue for me because, Christmas is coming soon, and they're looking, oh, I would like to get, this. And oh, but we just recently did some construction on the house, so money is tight right now. And so now I'm having these conversations like, okay, no, money doesn't grow on trees. That's the popular saying. But what does that mean? I have to actually explain to them that, this money is not it. We have to work for it, and then what we do with it is, we have to be wise in what we do with it, because there are certain things that take priority over other things. And it's just, all of a sudden I'm conscious about, oh, wait a minute, I need to properly teach them. Like, I can't just say money doesn't grow on trees and leave it at that. I have to actually teach them and show them as we go. Okay, look, here's how money comes in, here's where it needs to go. And like, there's so many things that, so having something out there that, will focus on that, and to be mindful to include that in everyday learning
Yeah.
is definitely important.
So you see where it's a challenge, because it's a challenge
Yeah.
for all of us to think about. Now just think about money in general and your children. Where do you start?
Yeah.
What do you start with? Right. And then how do you lay a foundation? First, you have to develop some rough dirt, right? Put a foundation on and build some walls and get to a roof. And you kind of have to do it in this order with money. There's just these the knowledge pieces that you can pass along to the kids that will ultimately make sense and guide their behaviors. We really think about the behavior with money and the relationship you have with it, right? Because
Yeah.
money is a
Yeah.
tool. But now you look at the social media aspects that a lot of our young kids aren't engulfed in, but the teenagers definitely are. And we didn't have those same problems as individuals, the majority of the parents today, because it wasn't as advanced, it wasn't as out there. And now people look at other people spending money, and they see them living different lifestyles, and they think that that's just easy. I saw a crazy chart yesterday, and it talked about what the generations believe they need to earn to live a comfortable life. And it showed the boomers, it showed Gen X, it showed millennials, and it showed zennials. And there was this massive disparity with the millennial expectations. And
Wow.
wow, it was 6 times the average income in the States. And it's like, and there's something there that's kind of coming from the social media aspect. So we need to be careful about
Ah,
how we're feeding this to our kids. Like, what do you need? We're only going to
yeah.
have so much, and you're only going to have so much time to trade for this resource of money. And if
Yeah.
you can see teachers who make far less than some executive businessman who will have more money in retirement because of their behavior with money. So
Mhm.
it's not about how much you make; it's about how you behave with it and the things you do with it along the way. And if we can give the kids a foundation early on, just to understand it, money's not something to idolize. It's a tool. And at the end of the day, we're
Yeah.
really trying to emphasize the importance of money as a tool.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. And one of the things that I, focus on, as I teach my boys, trying to gear them into, or shift them into their path that they want to go into. And so every little step that they do, whether it's whatever subject we're doing, it's kind of feeding into what they want to do, when they grow up. And so having those tools, like you mentioned, alongside and developing that as they grow. So that's my hope, that when
when they're ready to leave and go out into the world, they're equipped with everything that they need, not just the book knowledge, not just the academic side of it, which is important obviously to move forward, but there's so many other tools like financial literacy that they need. And so now, being one of those parents, what's one piece of advice that you would give to those of us who want to teach financial literacy?
Well, one I just said. One is that money's a tool, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
don't idolize. There's the common misconception of that money's the root of all evil, and it's not that money's the root of all evil. It's the idolatry of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
Right. It's the one who can never have enough, and you can see that's a bit of a problem in some of the youth aspects right now. And I really believe it's fed through social media because you're seeing other things that you're like, oh, I want that. I should have that. And then you have this entitlement that follows along with it. And it's like, well, that doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So one, money's a tool. Two, don't idolize it, and have a proper relationship with it. Really just understand what money is, how to leverage it, and how to behave with it. Those are the three things that I really think at the end of the day, if you can successfully transfer the knowledge that you have around money and finance to your children, then you're going to ultimately set them up for financial freedom and success.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And not that money makes success, right? But it's just success with managing that resource. It's like, just think about 50 years from now, none of us know where water is going to be. What kind of limited resource. I think about this sometimes when I'm taking a long hot shower. I'm like, wow, that was really awesome. But now you think about if we didn't have enough water to drink, you'd be splashing yourself clean out of a cup.
Yeah.
Because you don't care about cleaning yourself, you care about drinking the water.
Yeah.
There's not much different with money. Money can be it can be a scarce resource. And there's another topic in here, and I'm not planning to get on this today. I just mention it quickly.
Sure.
But a household that lives in a mindset of scarcity passes that along to the children unintentionally. It just happens. And a household that lives in abundance passes that along to the children, right? Unintentional again. So where's this happy medium? Some of the hardest things for people to do is say no to the children. When you don't have enough money, it's real easy to say, no, you can't have that, because it's an absolute. No, you cannot have that.
Right.
Now, when there's a little extra money and there's that, oh, can I have this? Now the no is different because it's a different reason for no. It's just, no, you can't have it because you don't need it. And it's not a need, it's a want. And right now we didn't plan for that. It doesn't matter if you have, excess money in the bank. So there's the mindset of scarcity and abundance. And it feels the way that I believe people live later in life. So I just, it's another thing to just to caution on. Yeah. So there's the mindset aspect. So one of the things that we really do differently, I think, so, those are the things to teach. Now, we really focus on consistency and delivery, right? Because if you can carry the conversation on throughout a year, throughout 2 years, throughout 3 years with a consistent note, by the end of 3 years, we have a delivery mechanism we call the Golden 52. So it's one lesson a week for 52 weeks, right? The Golden 52. Now, if you plug the 11-year-old, you said you have an 11-year-old son.
Yes.
I do as well. You plug an 11-year-old into that, by the time they're 14, they've now taken 156 lessons if they did it every week. And this is a 2-minute lesson. It's just a little nugget every single week. So it's like a little gold nugget dropped into a barrel, and it just delivers consistency. And it brings a foundation and an approach to where there's nobody idolizing it. You're just realizing how to behave with money. It's like saying please and thank you. It's a behavior, and we do it to be cordial. But if you can do that with your money, then you're being cordial to yourself in some regards.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I am taking notes because this is really good stuff, and it's very timely for our family to have these kind of conversations and look at financial literacy.
This episode is sponsored by Reading Eggs. With Reading Eggs, your homeschoolers will enjoy a highly personalized learning journey designed to support them at every stage. Plus, you'll get 4 programs in one with your subscription: Reading Eggs, Reading Eggs Press, Reading Eggs Junior, and Fast Phonics.
So we're kind of heading right into what you offer at Buck Academy. Why don't you describe all that we can look at Buck Academy?
Yeah. Well, we have several printed book titles. We start with kind of some young baby books. Oops. Like this one, for instance. This is Baby Buck, How Much Am I? And this is for like
Oh,
0 to 4. And
okay.
it's just this is Baby Buck. That's one of our characters. But it's a very simple book that asks over and over again, how much am I? And here's the introduction to the coins. They're foiled, so they look like real coins. They have texture. You can kind of feel in the coin. And then it says, I'm a dime. How much am I? And there's a little flip tab here.
Oh, very fun.
It has 10 cents. And the kids, the feedback from parents is they want to read this over and over again. And it's just a simple question, but there's the sensory engagement with it.
Yes.
And you're showing them coins. And then how much longer are these going to remain in our society, in our hands? But it's interesting how many people, this country's filled with immigrants. And, in our household, no different. We have just, a lot of immigrant into the country. They're new, and coins don't matter, but they do matter, right? Because there's still something that we interact with. And, you read all the articles these days. I read probably more articles on money than most, but physical currency is not going to go away. Now everything is getting digital. So this makes learning about money also more challenging. You hear stories of when, people used to go down to the bank with their parents and learn about the check register and see what cash is and know what a check is. When's the last time you wrote a check, right? We don't. Checks are almost a thing of the past. It's like a CD, it's like a compact disc with music on it, or a DVD player. Like these things over time go away. But so we're still teaching about money, and it's just an introduction. And it again, it's a behavior that's kind of setting up. And then we have another book that's done really well is Buck Making Sense. And Buck Making Sense goes into the depths of, like, here's a coin, here's what's on the heads, here's what's on the tails, here's what's on the dollar. And it talks about the imagery and the symbols that are on the money and the depth of the money, and gets into a couple of the presidents. And there's plenty for us parents to learn out of the book as well. But it's just a fun read for the kids. And then it takes them into this depth of money. Like, wow, just looking at what's on the dollar, like that's a lot. And why it's there. The founders of this country, why they put so much detail and attention into money. And then I think there's a big, massive detail that's on all of our money. And it says, in God we trust. That's our nation's model. It was established in the early 50s. And we're a nation built under God. And, not everybody's going to agree with that, but that is the foundation of this country. And we are a very blessed nation, and it's on every piece of currency. And so we really just are trying to give kids an introduction to money, to understand it as a principle and a tool. And it's a commerce item that we use in trade.
Awesome. So it's just the 2 books, and
we have another My First Account. We have another one coming out, Heads or Tails. That's a really fun book. It just kind of talks about the origin of heads or tails, and it's a big coin and it flips through. We have a couple other titles. We have Quick Sense to the Buck, and we have a couple others that are also pretty close to publishing. But another one called In God We Trust. Why it's on the money. And the books are short. This is some of the things that you see if you go to you go to a bookstore. If you go to a physical brick and mortar bookstore, good luck finding a book on money for kids.
It's true. It's true. I've looked.
You can find them on the internet, right? Obviously, there's the big mega bookstore out there that sells everything else in the world. But you can go on there, and you see a lot of the books are this thick. How does a book this thick What do I take from this and give to my 13-year-old?
Exactly.
Or your 16-year-old who you're having a struggle connecting with anyway, and the money's like, oh yeah, you're not very good with money. Why should I listen to you? So this is another part of the context about why we created Buck. So in a household, when you bring in our materials, it's coming from Buck. He's the expert. You can relate back to Buck. You can give your own insight, but then you have another place to go. You can deflect the conversation towards the expert from Buck. So you don't have to feel like, oh, well, I have to know about money to teach about money. And I think that's one of the hardest things for a lot of parents who don't feel secure with the knowledge they have about money, is we're giving you the tools and a mediator, if you will, to help pass that message and those knowledge points across.
I like that. Because sometimes the pressure is on us, and I don't know about your kids, but my kids like to call me on certain things, and oh yeah, well, but you don't do that, but how come the book says that and you don't do that, and oh, and all of a sudden you're under fire. So
Right?
I will appreciate Buck even more. So you were saying, how long does it take, like for those of us who are homeschooling, um, and are interested in taking like that book, that second book that you had mentioned? How long, would that be considered like a unit study, like a few weeks, or can we do it all year round, or?
Good question. We find this really works well at a like maybe second to fourth grade level.
Okay.
Because it's an introduction, right? So, but it's
Right.
getting deep. But then there's plenty in here that that you can grab for the depths and the history of the money. But then what we really get into is we've been digitizing all of our lessons, and we have created these video first formats that are 2 minutes with a quiz, and we are swiftly moving to have open access to that. So that is planned to go live Friday, actually.
Oh, cool.
So we can put up a link where anybody can go up and sign up for the waiting list of that, and they can get into the Golden 52. So we have 3 pillars inside of our digital curriculum. The Golden 52, which I slightly explained, and then we have Timeless Wisdom pillar, and then we have a Rich Anytime pillar. And the Timeless Wisdom pillar takes the 2,350 references from the Word and combines it with finance, and then just really kind of shows how that this tool of money is a gift that's given to our society, so that we can operate and have a resource to trade. But if you look into the Word, money is the number 2 topic behind love. And it's not there to idolize it. It's a powerful resource to understand. And and then the Rich Anytime is just where kids can go binge watch. So Timeless Wisdom and Golden 52 are on a delivery system that come out weekly. The Rich Anytime is for those overachiever kids who are like, I want more. I want to know about, impulse spending. And we have an application that we've been putting out and putting together from Buck Academy, where Buck Academy's content is delivered into Buck One. And Buck One is an organization that it's basically, it's a system, a money teaching system. We don't like to say the words financial literacy because it seems to turn people off, like, oh, that's a complicated topic. So really it's financial intelligence. How do you pass along financial intelligence to our children? And we've really put together this system that has 3 key features. It really helps manage earnings. It gives banking service tools, so a kid can get a spending and a savings account, and they can have the tools to understand how money moves and flows, and that's your real live bank. And then we're not a bank; it's just banking services. And then we have the educational component. So and then you can give allowances to the children for finishing a lesson and whatnot. And really kind of give them extra motivation, like, oh, well, I'm learning and I'm earning. Yes, hey, check it out. The more you learn, the more you earn.
Ah, I like that. This is really good. This is all of this sounds wonderful. And so as you've been talking, we've been popping in the links for all of those things that you mentioned. Was there anything more that our audience can go and find out more about Buck Academy, or to sign up, as you said? So I know there's the buck1.org, and then there was that Gift It Forward page.
Yeah. So the Gift It Forward page, I'd love just to point that out. Like if you have a school around you, or you have a library system around you, and you would like them to receive a copy of our book, just please sign up, and we are more than happy to donate a copy to those locations.
Oh, that's amazing.
And we also have another program there for classrooms, so we can donate out to to classrooms to give the curriculums that might be needed. We give a buck making sense book and a quick sense workbook, and those two together are just a real easy way to introduce money. It's just different. I look at all these little ways that it's done in the classrooms, and some of them are fun, some of them are engaging, but ask the kids what they learned later in a few months, and they often forget. So we really work on retention and the relevance. And then, so that's our Gift It Forward program. You can sign up on the Buck One waiting list, and then there is we have a community outreach program with Buck One that we're launching as well, and we have an application that allows families of first responder, active duty, or veteran military, or teacher families to apply for a free Buck One account.
Wow.
And that's our way to give back to the service providers that are the fabric of our society, and kind of build our community first, right? And oftentimes what you get in households where parents are very busy and not home a lot is they're not sharing the messages or the lessons in life that we all absorb, right? Because the time's limited. You get home, you're tired. You go to you might fix some food, prep the house out for whatever it needs, to make sure that you're set up for the next day, and then you're off to sleep, and then you're off to work. And we go through these cycles, and then think about 5 years later, you're like, wow, kid's taller than I am. Man, I didn't really share enough. Man, you can't get that time back. So we're really trying to make this an automated system that, at least for money, we can check that box. And how do you teach your kids about money? Here's the main question: who taught you about money? Was it soon enough? Just for yourself, was it soon enough?
Wow, no, it wasn't. For me, it wasn't, and that's a good question. And I don't want that for my kids too. Like, I'm honestly, and I think I overwhelm myself sometimes, because I'm like, oh my goodness, I only have them for, X number of years, and I have to teach them all these things plus 2 more hands. And how do I get it in? And so to have something like Buck One, or Buck Academy, in place, that's automated, and, that will help get it in, without too much panic on my my end as a parent, is a huge help. And so thank you for creating all of this. It looks amazing. I can't wait to dive into the book. I wrote it down, and I'm gonna reach out and get that later. But yeah, Barbara Kindness says it's such a valuable resource for parents. It definitely is, and I encourage all of you to check it out. Sign up for Buck One, and I love the fact that you can connect with your library and in the groups in that way, because it's such a valuable resource, as Barbara had mentioned there. And thank you so much for sharing all of this. Was there anything else that popped in your mind that you wanted to tell our audience today?
No, money's a tool, right?
Yeah.
It's not everybody has a hammer and a screwdriver, but
Yes, it's true.
somebody said to me not long ago at a dinner, oh no, I don't think we need to teach money. He was in the financial industry. No, I think there's other things that are more important. And I said, hey, sir, please, can you find me one person on this planet who hasn't used money? we all need to learn about it, right? So take the time to teach to the kids.
Yeah, it's true. And don't ever feel that, they're too young to learn, because they will ask for it.
Yeah.
A 3-year-old will ask for something that costs money, and you'll find yourself, either in that trap of, oh, do I buy it? Do I not buy it? And are they going to understand? Well, make them understand. You need to teach them right there. And there's always those teachable moments. Um, as especially for us homeschoolers, the teachable moments it can happen anytime, anywhere. And
Now
so,
imagine your younger children when they see the older ones and they're
yes,
emulating. My 3-year-old now, she's 4 now, but when she was 3, she's like, "Can I sweep? Do I earn something for this?" Like,
yeah,
you either got it or you don't, but you can coax these things, right? But we have to be intentional about it, and that's all we're
yes,
trying
you
to do, is
do.
bring intentional lessons to the table. Because if even if you don't have, I don't know, money, I'm not a big believer in money. I'm more on the art, the arts and liberal side. That's fine, but money's still a resource, that we all are going to have to manage, and we shouldn't take that away from the children to give them the head start to live towards financial freedom. Because number one cause of stress in this country, according to the the Federal Reserve and the American Psychology Association, is stress. And
Yeah.
it's stress from money, right? The number one cause of stress is money. So we can help our children coax with that by giving them some knowledge to
Yeah.
just have a little bit better understanding and the relationship and the behavior with money.
This is great. This is great.
Thank you for having us, and we're honored to be here and just share with what we've been doing and building as an organization.
Awesome. Well, blessings on your company and blessings on you and your family. If you are watching either live or on the recording, you have questions, pop them in the comments, and we'll send them over to Dustin if we can answer them. They're specific questions, but I'm sure Dustin will be happy to answer questions. Definitely check out those websites in the comments as well, and get yourself connected with some great resources. Thanks again, Dustin, and thank you all for watching today, and we'll see you again in another Homeschool Live. Bye
Thank
for
you.
now.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview, and I hope you took a lot of notes and that you are inspired about teaching financial stewardship with your kids. And so don't forget to check out our show notes so you'll get more on this topic, and you can find them at homeschoolshow.com. And before I sign off, I will let you know what's coming up next on the Hey Mama Homeschool Show. We've got the trials and triumphs of teaching writing, then divine interruptions, the best teaching moments. And after that, we're going to have honoring homeschool fathers. So don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss a new episode, which comes out every Monday. We hope you continue to tune in. God bless.